Peace, fam. Okay, I'm gonna try not to be too loud because I am in my office. I'm not working today, but my coworker is here. The other person that we share office space together. So yeah, I don't want to be too loud. Anyway, happy Friday, and I'm so excited because I saw Simple Living in the chat. Shout out to Simple Living. I just appreciate this subby so much because I'm pretty sure Simple Living's been around since my other channel, and they've always been super supportive, like engaged in the comments, and I hadn't seen them in a while, so I was like, "Oh, how are they doing?" And so I just wanted to let you know, Simple Living, how much I appreciate you. Um, yes, if you're still here, but ciao. I'm not even supposed to be on. I'm supposed to be getting a pedicure. Okay, I'm supposed to be getting a pedicure. I'm so mad. So I went there to the shop, to the salon, and I was so excited because, child, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Y'all know I keep it real. I really needed to get a pedicure because, baby, if somebody was following me around to the Canada, my foot back would be looking just like Dutty Diana's. You hear me? I said so because it's winter. And yes, I need to get a pedicure. So I was so mad. I went there. I guess I'm gonna be looking like Dusty Deanna for a little bit because I went and child, they gonna talk about some oh yeah. I heard the one girl say to the other girl, yeah, there was a tumor in there, but it was the wrong one. She called and said her appointment. She doesn't have an appointment. So I made the appointment. And first of all, you have to put your phone number to book. So what they're trying to say is there was another Tamar, and I guess the wrong Tamar called and was like, "Oh, I don't have an appointment." So wouldn't you have sense and call other people who have the same name to see if it was the right person? Like, it's so stupid. So they just canceled their appointment, didn't do no follow up. They lazy as hell. And then now I don't have an appointment. And so I think one of the things that really made me mad, other than wasting my time and me not getting to do what I need to do, is that the girl, she just looks very young and unexperienced. She low key was trying to blame me. She never actually said it, but her tone and the way she responded was given like, oh, yeah, well, you know, like she made it seem like it's my fault. So I was like, I was like, don't you have to put in a phone number? Whoever's booking. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, well, who booked it? I knew she wasn't going to tell me, but I wanted her to know, sweetie, it's your people that's incompetent. Okay. And then I was like, is there anybody else available to do the pedicure? Okay, no, listen, I don't fuck with Mingling and them. Simple living, baby. I don't even go around there to Mingling no more because they treat us horribly. They're not ever getting a dime. You hear what I'm saying? Like, Mingling ain't never getting another dime from me as it relates to. And when I say that, I'm speaking specifically to racist ass shops who really don't like us, but they like take over our communities. And I'm not going there. So it wasn't. I don't deal with those shops anymore. I've experienced too much racism and I've seen too much videos of other black people experiencing racism, but y'all just want our money. Nah. But I never had no problems with them before, but it was just like this. Oh, I was so angry. I was so angry. So she was like, well, I have something at 1:45. And I was just like, I can't do that. Like, I need to check to see because I'm having, this is my free time, child. I don't have my child right now. My husband is with our child. And it was supposed to be a perfect Friday self care morning. Child, they ruined it. So anyway, I done rescheduled and went with my original person because I was like, we're not doing this again. Laura, you failed. You're fired. So here I am. Okay, so I got a little bit of time before I go run some errands and stuff. And child, like I said, I'm gonna be looking like Dusty Deanna for a little bit more because I need to get my feet done. I have slacked in that area. Exactly. No, we're not giving them no coins. Like, it's just no. Mm-mm. I stopped that. In fact, when I used to live, I lived in right before I moved to Canada. I lived in this, like, I guess it wasn't a rural town, but it was like a suburban town in Pennsylvania. After I moved from Philly, and there was this one place I would go to, or I would try to go to, correction, because it was near one of my favorite health food stores. And I tried to get in there like three times. I would show up and like ask, I'm just trying to get eyebrows done, just eyebrows. And it took me a while to catch on because this is like a different neighborhood. So I'm like, Oh, okay. Like the dude would always make excuses. So I was like, well, do you have anything within the next hour? And he'd be like, no. So I kind of got the hunch, and this was an Asian shop. I kind of like had the idea after a while, like, wait a minute, what if this dude is just telling me this? This is weird that you don't have no eyebrow appointments, like when I walk in, because you could see me. So then one day I called on his ass. I called, and I don't remember if I changed my voice or not. Like I don't remember what I did, but I did call. And it was him, and he booked me. So when I showed up, honey, he looked so shocked. He looked so shocked that I was walking into his shop. And so that let me know um that let me know a lot about like what was going on there and how racist they were, but it was just looking different. So they have all kinds of tactics, y'all. They have all, and that was the last one that I would have went to. That was before I moved. I don't deal with it. Nope. Mm-mm. And I'm sure there's exceptions to the rules that, I'm sure, I like to not make, I like to make sure I'm not generalizing, because I'm sure there's people out there, from the Asian community who don't treat black people like that or might not be racist. But, it's been a long-standing issue for years, for decades. A lot of black people can tell you, especially black women, we're the ones who patronize those businesses, and they treat us like crap, and they take our money, and I'm not going. You gotta put your money where your mouth is. So shout out to Simple Living, because we ain't doing it. Okay. So child, I was so mad about this morning, but whatever. I'm gonna just like not let it ruin the rest of my day. I wanted to get on here and talk about a couple things, just like some things that I've seen in the news, or just some things like some stuff on my channel. And what was the other thing? In 2024, baby, 2024, like I wrote on Chocolate Base channel, is 24 right now. Okay. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of like, do you guys notice a pattern of like just people getting exposed? It's crazy. Simple Living said, I got tired of the price changes. Yep. And nails falling off 3 days in a row. Because you know what, too, Simple Living? You're making a good point. It's kind of crazy. But when I switched over to, because that's all I knew was like the Asian beauty salons, right? In terms of like nails and eyebrows, especially when you grow up and like, I grew up in New Jersey. Well, once I moved from Jamaica, I grew up in New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania. And so, especially New York and New Jersey, I'm used to just walking in. You could just like get a pedicure, whatever, right? Or get an eyebrows done, whatever. And so that's one thing that type of store offers is availability, right? The other thing is, um, it's cheaper, right? So the places that I go to now, you can't. It's very rare that you can walk in. You can, but you might be waiting for a while. Like it's just a different system, and it is not. You can't go get like I get mad every time I go get a pedicure, because you can't go. Remember back in the day, you can go get your nails and your feet done for like $50 if you're lucky. You can't do that no more. Like that does not exist. Okay, you're paying $50 for at least one of those services. Like at least $50. So at least when it's not, that's the standard ones. I went to school and got my yes. Simple Living. Okay, Simple Living created solutions, and not just for herself, but for other people. Okay, she was like, "Look, I'm gonna go get my certification." It's so crazy. And I have done my own nails. I'm just too lazy. I've done that too, but I'm not on your level at all. It's so crazy how things will force our hands to like make us want to learn these things for ourselves, right? When people try to keep you out or people treat you poorly, that's a powerful response. I love that. I love that for you. And I really wish more of us would just follow suit, because it's crazy. It's kind of wild, like the things that we go through and we experience and we deal with. And I told you, I don't patronize people. Like if you even show any type of racism, and you, especially if you're a small business, nah, I'm not going to you. I'm not dealing with you. So that's awesome. Simple Living. Simple Living, how have you been? What you been up to? What's going on? So yeah, there's been a lot of stuff happening, guys, in the news. And all over the place. So we're gonna get into a little bit, just kind of like the theme of 2024. And things that we've been noticing. A lot of people are talking about the Diddy story. If you're on the replay, drop down, show some love. And I want to say shout out to all the new subscribers. I appreciate you. Thank you for watching my video, and thank you for subbing to the channel. I do all different types of commentary over here, but I try to I try to offer unbiased perspective when I can. That's my goal. In fact, I want to talk about that first. So I've gotten quite a few new subscribers through the last two videos that I did about Isis Wisdom and Rod Hayes. And I just want to speak on something because it really irritates me. And if you're watching the replay and this resonates with you, let me know. So I've seen different people like say certain things. In what I think there's different reasons for it. One, I think is their imbalance. Like everything is not going to be, sitting on your meditation pillow, chanting. You know what I'm saying? Astral traveling. It's not all going to be like that. There's real life, there's balance, and we talk about things. And if you don't want to talk about it, then don't come over here. Like it's just simple. So you have people criticizing me from the conscious community talking about something. Oh, it's gossip, and another reason why people say things like that is to silence you. So if they don't like what you're talking about, and they don't like who you're talking about, then they try to, hey, mixology. Shout out to one of my members, mixology, aka Miss Manny. Okay, one of the baddest chefs around. Thank you for being here. Sometimes when people don't like what you're talking about, they will try to criticize you by saying, oh, you gossiping, or you're talking about stuff. And so I want to get into exactly what is gossiping. What is gossiping? What's the difference between gossiping, sharing news, and giving commentary? Because I do think there's a range of things, and I think that people will try to silence you for many reasons, by accusing you of unsavory things. And so that just really irritated me because I was just like, yes, it's sunshine vibes. Yes, same here, sis. Oh my gosh, I can't get this thing off here. Ciao. I can't send this pop up thing. I can't even see the comments now. Okay, here we go. You're on lunch, Manny. So I want to talk about that because I just think it's really messed up how people try to silence you by in certain different things. And this reminds me of when I was growing up in Pentecostal church, and how if people don't like certain things, they try to describe it in a way that makes you look bad. And it really, really reminded me of that. I was like, yo, what is this? Like fundamentalist spirituality? Like what's going on? So people, it wasn't a lot of people, but I caught the shade. I caught the shade from a couple people, and I don't appreciate it because some of those same people who say stuff, you're creating a false like view of perfectionism. We're all human beings, and there's different aspects to us. And there's an aspect of me who likes to meditate, who likes to work with nature, who's intuitive, who's empathic, who's interested in the collective energy and different things. And there's an aspect of me that's like, yo, what's going on in the world today? Let's talk about it. I don't need to feel no shame about it. I don't need to worry about what you think about what I'm thinking, because that's me being balanced and that's me being a real ass person. And I think that's the reason why we see so much corruption. And this is why people get so knocked off their feet when their faves get caught up in the news, because they look at them as like they're otherworldly. They look at them as like they're ethereal and that they can't do any wrong when they're just human, just like me and you. If you poke them with a pin, the blood going to be blood. It's going to be red. Okay. So I really want to get into this because I'm like, how do we have balance? Like, how can you, whether you're spiritual, religious, whatever it is, I really reject those type of messages that like try to trap people in boxes, because that's how I grew up. Okay. I grew up like, if anybody's familiar with the Pentecostal tradition, you got to wear skirts. You can't pierce your ears. You can't paint your nails. You can't go to the movies. Okay. There's a long list of things that you can't do, all in the name of that's not what God wants you to do, depending on what people say. You know what I'm saying? So there's no way, if I rejected that in Christianity, there's no way I'm going to let somebody from the spiritual community come try to run up at me and tell me, you're gossiping, you're this, you're that. Like, it's just like, what? First of all, and this is what I said to somebody came to the video, one of the videos that I did, one of those two recent videos with the same topic. And they were like, why must you gossip about the conscious community? So I just wrote back and I was just like, you're here, yet you're here watching the video and commenting under the video. So to me, it's like you're hypocritical. How do you know about the video? How do you know about the topic? Because listen, what I know about YouTube, there's only a few ways that you're going to find the video. You're either typing it in, looking it up. It's in your homepage and recommendations. Somebody sent the video to you. Like, let's keep it a buck. How are you accessing this video? This is an obscure topic. You're accusing me of gossiping about the conscious community, but yet somehow you found your way to my video. How make it make sense? I need you to make it make sense. Okay. So well, what were you doing? Were you in the astral realms and found out about my video? Is that what it was? Like, people just do the absolute most, and it's like I said, because I know what this looks like because of how I grew up. And there's a lot of parallels. Like, this is why is again, people get trapped, they get caught up with people, like other people, because they think these other people have extra sauce, and some of us do have extra sauce. But just because you do, that doesn't mean you're infallible. It doesn't mean you're still not a human being. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I look at gossip, and like when I looked up the word gossip, it's like the intention. Yes, there's so many parallels, mixology, and that's what this is teaching me. Like, this is what I've learned from this, because at first I was like really salty, and like I was like, yo, that's kind of shady because you're attacking my character. All I did was do a video on these two people might have a disagreement. What might it be about? It's no different than any other video I've done on my channel. Like, so again, it just really made me think, like, you know, these parallels for sure exist in different areas, whether, like I said, religion, spirituality, and people will try to use the same tactics to silence you, or, you know, to make you feel shame. You know what I'm saying? All while you don't have to be like, they don't have to be here. You don't have to watch it. You don't have to click on it. You know, like, let's be real. So I was looking up the word gossip, and gossip usually implies that there's some type of negativity attached to it. So, like, you're talking about it in a way that brings destruction to the person. Me talking about facts from what I actually heard about that story that happened, different than straight up gossip. Okay. Um, Also, even like, I feel like even celebrity gossip has morphed a little bit, because sometimes stay out of simple living. Simple living is just like, let me keep it a buck. It's so crazy. And this is why I don't like, there's people that I like, there's certain people that I like, but I don't stand for anybody. Same thing with music. You know how you have stands where their person could do no wrong. I get very skeptical when I see people behave like that, because I'm like, no, you're gonna get caught up. Like, for example, do I like some Beyonce music? Absolutely. Do I consider myself part of the Beehive? Absolutely not. Some people might be like, no, if you like her music, you're a Beehive. Nope, I'm not a Beehive. Those people are crazy. Okay, those people don't have no sense. And that goes for a lot of other celebrities, you know. But yeah, like, it's crazy. First I was disappointed, but then I was like, nah, this is the same thing. I've seen this before. I know what this looks like. We've been here. And some of this is fundamentalism. And I want to say this from like a mental health perspective. That is not balance, y'all. Like, when you have people that's trying to pretend like they're perfect, like they don't think about stuff, like they don't want to know what the tea is sometimes, or they're not curious, or sometimes I remember, I'll give you another example. There was another content creator that really disappointed me back in, I think it was when it was during the pandemic, and a lot of the stuff was happening with George Floyd. And I remember they came out and did a video talking about some, don't get caught up. Like, there was so much stuff happening around that time. So many, you know, there's a lot we can say, but we're going to keep it simple. They were like, don't get caught up. Some of this isn't even real. So George Floyd didn't die. His neck wasn't crushed by a police officer. And this is what I'm saying. Some people, they so spiritual. I'm doing air quotes. You can't see me. They're so spiritual that they're just so out of touch with like reality, right? Right? To the point where you're even telling people not to react to something that like clearly could impact them. Like, if you're a person of color, these are things that impact us daily. You don't have to like George Floyd. There's a lot of different thoughts, you know. What was weird was they weren't telling you to pick one side or the other. They were just saying check out. And I just thought that was very interesting. When checking out. And it was just, I was very offended by that because I'm like, no, I'm not checking out. This is serious. Like something's finally being done. It's like there's finally awareness being raised about this issue in our community, and you're advising the masses to check out. Maybe that's what you're called to do, but I'm not. Okay. And so this is what I'm saying. It's just like, there, like, I don't even, would that be cognitive dissonance? Like, is that like an example of cognitive dissonance? Because I just think that's very strange, and very irresponsible, might I add. So this is why we take things with a grain of salt. Like, I love learning new things. I love like metaphysics. I love all that shit. But what I'm not going to do is become disconnected from reality. Okay. And I think there's a lot of people that become in danger of that, because it's just they lack balance. Like like I said, from a mental health perspective, that can't be healthy if this is the way you're looking at things. It's just very black and white. And the reality is life isn't always black and white. There's lots of grays in there too. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's some indigo, sometimes it's some mustard. You know, life isn't always black and white. There are aspects of black and white to life and to topics and to situations. But if you live your life thinking that it's always black and white, you're going to drive yourself crazy. There's going to be some pathology there. I said what I said. So, to anybody who comes across my video from the conscious community and y'all got stuff to say, just step off. Go meditate. Go find something to do. Go do some shamalama ding dong. Go do a spell. Leave me alone. Because I'm not going to change who I am for you. Okay? Um, just dumb. Yes, ma'am. A lot of gray areas people like to ignore. Yes, they like to ignore it because it makes them uncomfortable and they don't want to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think a really good example of this, if we're looking, let's look at it from a Christian aspect of things, right? You know, the Bible talks about not killing and, different things. And yet there is genocide straight up in the Bible. People don't want to have discussions about that. There's literally genocide in the Bible. People don't want to talk about that. They just pretend like that part of the Bible doesn't exist. And, we don't need to call attention to it. You'll hear them bend themselves into a pretzel, but yet they want to bring up obscure passages about different things. But you don't want to talk about, let's explore this. Let's explore this topic. Why is this sanctioned? Why is this okay in this moment? People cannot handle that. They can't handle that. So they stick to the black and white, right? They stick to the black and white. And usually those are people with their set of core beliefs is so small. Those are the people that are most at risk for shit falling apart. And why do I say that? Because when your core is so small and, an idea gets shattered, it's really damaging to people like that. And things fall apart very quickly. So, no, I reject any of that fundamentalism because there's fundamentalism everywhere. It's not just in Christianity, it's not just in religions, like world religions. Fundamentalism can exist in many aspects, and I'm not here for it. So yeah, that's my topic about gossip versus sharing news. Like, I've always been a channel where I like to talk about different things. Sometimes I talk about celeb stuff. It's not my favorite, but I do talk about it. But a lot of times I talk about things straight out the news. Here is this topic. This is what I feel about it. How do you feel about it? We have discussions over here. You know what I'm saying? Everything is not going to be crystals, rainbows, and unicorns. Like, it's just not. It's just, there's real stuff. I deal with people's real life every day, real stories. They're going through real things. And just like I'm not going to go tell them to pray the problem away, I'm not going to tell them this crystal going to be the answer to all your problems. Okay, let's keep it a buck. Okay. Can it help? Can it assist you on your journey? Absolutely. Absolutely. But it's just ridiculous. Like, it's not realistic. I believe in the smite in the Bible. simple living. And you know what? I went. Could you elaborate, love? Anytime I see that word smite, I lose it because I think about the Pulp Fiction. I think it's Samuel L. Jackson. I don't remember his character, and he just goes around and he's saying this one verse. I don't remember out the Old Testament, and I will smite thee, and I just get so shook. But smiting is a real thing, that for sure exists. If you believe that, but it's just I can't. I can't deal with imbalance. I can't deal with people beat down. Okay, listen, straight up, spiritual, physical, anything. I can't deal with it because I've left that life. I've left, um, fundamentalism, and I'm not trying to return to it in any aspect at all. Period. Period. Okay. So let me see what else I want to talk about. If anybody had any thoughts about that topic, please feel free to share. But basically, I just want to say they're not going to shame me. I'm gonna keep doing what I do over here. The people that get drawn, they will get drawn. The people that don't want to, that's fine. But don't come up talking about something. Why are you doing this? Hey, Miss Brown, baby. Hello, sis. Thank you for being here. Like we gotta have we gotta have some reality to life. It's annoying. Um, and along those lines, let me finish up that topic because it's still related to the Rod Hayes ISIS situation, real quick. Um, yeah, like I think there's so many, like, upon reflection, there's so many shady things about that story. Like, whether let's say the woman is telling the truth, that young woman is telling the truth, which I do believe, that a lot of what she's saying, is real. I still think it's weird that ISIS Wisdom came out here and did it like that. And how comes people didn't say it was gossip when Rod Hayes was accusing ISIS Wisdom of scamming? You know what I'm saying? You see how people are double minded. Y'all didn't want to say it was gossip when Rod Hayes got out here and said different things about ISIS Wisdom, but it's gossip if we're talking about this situation. Like, child, bye. I can't. Um, so let's talk about Sri Lanka. And so this is something that actually I just learned. I had no idea that Sri Lanka had taken refugees in from Ukraine and Russia. Okay, because you know that Ukraine and Russia went to war. I don't even know how long it's been now. Has it? It's been over a year for sure. Has it? Is it pushing 2 years, y'all? My memory is not in a good place. But Sri Lanka took in some Russians and some Ukrainians. Now, the Russians that were there, apparently they're trying to flee. What's this called? Not conscription. That might be what it is. Like, they don't want to be enlisted. They don't want to be forced to fight, so they flee the country, and so they sought refuge in Sri Lanka. And Ukrainians, they're just trying to escape the war because their country is the one that's getting assaulted. Now, I'm gonna say this. I might get struck down, but we'll see. I know I keep it 200% over here. I have since called my energy back as it relates to the Ukrainian war. I told you in the old video why. Do I care about people? Absolutely. But when I discovered that Ukrainians, were being mad racist to other Black people, um, in the midst of almost being blown to smithereens, I was like, nah, I'm not wasting a prayer on you. I'm not sending you no energy. I'm a matter of fact, I'm gonna call all my energy back that I put into there. Do I wish them well? Yes, but I wish them well back then, and that's it. And I haven't, like, read no articles. I withdrew myself from that story because I said, people need to learn. When you have people like this, just like, if you're almost like, if you're on the brink of death and people are destroying your country, and you can still be super racist to other people that are in your plight. Nah, I'm not wasting an ounce of energy on you. Okay, I'm not. Like I said, ain't no prayers, ain't none of that. I'm out. Good day. Good luck. The most sympathy I feel is for the babies because they're innocent. Okay. And usually they don't. I don't think people are born racist. I think you're taught that, but that's another story. And so that being said, the Ukrainians and the Russians were in Sri Lanka, and I don't know if it's just the Russians that was doing this, because I wouldn't put it past the Ukrainians, even though they're in trouble right now and facing war. Baby, they said them Russians was around there setting up trying to set up businesses that were white only and set up areas that were white only. Now, catch this, but once if you pick sense out of nonsense. Imagine you're in a war-torn country. You go to another country for help, for refuge. And these are white people. Okay, these are Europeans. They out here saying, um, look, we're going to a country that's predominantly people of color, and we finna set up camp, we finna set up businesses that's gonna keep them out. I want y'all to let that marinate. I want y'all to shake that around in a Ziploc bag for a little bit. I want y'all to put that in the pressure cooker. Does that make any sense to you? And I'm gonna read these comments, but does that make any sense to you? When I tell you I read that story, and this was on Lipstick Alley, I found this, my blood was boiling. I said, imagine you almost dead, and these people take you in, and you have the nerve. You know what it was given? See, it reminds me of the Native Americans. The Native Americans welcomed the white settlers, okay, broke bread with them. And I'm not saying all of them, because I'm sure there's different tribes and different whatever, okay, because some of them is going to be on site. They're like, nah, we're not, we're not fucking with you, okay. But the Native Americans spread a table out for the white settlers, and they ended up getting pow-powed in the back. Okay, they ended up getting all kinds of diseases. Like, this is to show you, and I'm not talking about, I want to make sure I put my disclaimer here. I'm not talking about all white people. I'm specifically talking about racist white people. Let's be clear. But imagine, this is the same behavior. The Sri Lankans rolled out the red carpet for you, and you're sitting up there plotting behind their blacks about how you're going to have white-only spaces in a country that's brown. See, Africa needs to take some notes. Africa as a continent needs to take some notes, because Africa's still out here, bending over, spreading wide, okay, for a lot of people that don't deserve to be there, for a lot of people that's taking their resources, okay? Like, it's crazy to me. Hey, Houston bread. Hey, sis, how you doing? It's crazy to me. Africa is out here getting pimped, prodded, okay, and pillaged. And the Sri Lankans is just one country. Africa is a whole continent. The Sri Lankans said, no, ma'am. No, ma'am, no, sir. Okay, you can take your shit and you can get out. They said, listen, we're not fitting to renew your visas. All you Russians that thought you could have white-only businesses and establishments after we let you in as a refugee, you could take your stuff and you can get to stepping. That's what the Sri Lankans said. Okay, the Sri Lankans said it with their chest. And meanwhile, Africa, okay, Africa is over there letting people steal their resources, just taking land, doing, like, there's mad natural resources in Africa, all over the continent, okay? And yet, I'm gonna say we, because it's still black people, predominantly haven't learned. What's up with that? How come Sri Lanka, a small country like Sri Lanka, could be like, no, we're not doing this. You need to go. We welcomed you with open arms, okay? And here you're taking advantage of our country. I really hope other countries are paying attention to this. And I'm gonna say something else while we're on this topic. Canada just I can't think of the word. I want to say rescinded, but it's not rescinded. They stopped, like, they put a stop to international students for a period of time. Now, I think it's well within their right to do so. But what I was getting was Canada was blaming, there's an immigration problem right now, and it's just too much. Like, they can't keep up with it. So that, like, the resources is just going to the point that, like, people who've been in Canada for years are like, oh, we got to, like, monitor this. This is what I see as somebody who is a new person to Canada. I felt like Canada went ahead and blamed the international students because most of them are brown and black people. And then Canada didn't make any reference to the hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians that they let into the country, which, mind you, I don't have no problem with that because they're in a war-torn country. But I want y'all to listen to what I'm saying. They made no mention of that in the problem and the solution. They blame the international students, y'all. Do you see what I'm saying? The international students are predominantly black and brown. I'm not saying they're all, but they blame the international students. International students got to pay thousand. You got to have. I think you have to have like 20 G's in your bank account before you can even come here as an international student. Meanwhile, refugees, again, we're not hating on refugees. I want to be clear. I'm just showing you how people twist things, okay? To make it seem like it's certain people that's causing problems when in reality it's a whole bunch of different things. But then they don't want to blame the Europeans at all. The Europeans have done nothing wrong. I want y'all to sit with that while I read these comments. That's why it's hard for me to give too much to war. They don't care about us, and it's shown any chance that presents itself. Absolutely. Absolutely. You're absolutely spot on, mixology. Same. They don't. Okay. Whenever there's war in other countries that look like us, it does not get this type of coverage. Do you hear about millions of dollars being shoveled over to any predominantly black countries? I'll wait. I'm not saying they don't give aid. Have you seen a prolonged period of this where every day you go on the news, you're hearing about billions and billions of aid going to the Ukraine? But do you hear that about any African countries? I don't, and I will stand corrected. You know, if you do, let me know, because this is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Mixology said, "Yep, I don't trust it one bit because it's show was the other foot. The Sri Lankans would have been." Listen, yes, they would. Yes, they would. Look at what the Chinese did to the Africans during the pandemic, to black people. They said it's your fault. You're bringing this filth and pestilence. Get out. Meanwhile, simultaneously, you got a whole bunch of Chinese people around there to Africa, stealing resources, buying up mad land. Y'all see, y'all know what's going on. Sri Lanka knows they can't afford to play those reindeer games with Russia. Okay. Because, listen, third world and small. Oh my gosh, this pop up is getting on my nerves. Third world and small doesn't mean dumb. Preach it, sis. I'm going to read that again. Third world and small doesn't mean dumb. Okay? Because that's what they think. That's what a lot of these racist ass people think. In New Guinea, there are parts where you cannot enter without approval or they will off you. Okay? They trust no outsiders. Shondo. Listen, because they know what time it is. They know what time it is. Nope, they will just extort them. Simple Living said the Saltines, not all white people, are afraid that we black may come together and ooh, I felt that in my spirit. Simple Living said that they are afraid that we black people may come together and take over. And I believe, I'm going to leave this up here. I believe that is their biggest fear. I believe that this is the biggest fear of the racists. This is the reason why they get their phallus looking guns, march down the street, okay, with shrimp peens of their own, because they're afraid. A united black people is a racist worst nightmare. Like, is white supremacists worst nightmare. And so many black people can't get this through their damn skulls. They're too busy fighting with each other to even peep game. This is their fear. This is why they invest millions of dollars, okay, to have you thinking and focusing on nonsense and to have us fighting each other. Y'all don't notice that other people, there's a lot of other people groups that they stick together no matter what's going on, rich, poor, okay? They duking it out together. But not black people. Nope. It's very hard, especially in America. It's very sad. Very, very sad. That's why they don't want us to now identify as black when mixed. Ooh! Propaganda. I just can't even right now because this is just some Manny. Did they change it? They changed. Propaganda I never heard before coming to YouTube is your mom or your dad black. And I want to talk about this because this does drive me crazy. This drives me absolutely insane. For years, before it even became a mainstream topic, I cannot stand when black people go into rants and rages about how biracial people should identify. I think biracial people should identify as what they want to identify. They are biracial, and if they predominantly identify more with being black or white or Hispanic or whatever it is, that's their choice. And you got people that's like, this person identifies as biracial, but they are more black presenting. No, you're just black, or vice versa. You can't tell. Like, it's just, oh, it drives me crazy. It drives me so crazy, so crazy. Like it's, and then if a famous biracial person does, like, says they're biracial and not black, people get angry. And I'm like, how are you gonna get angry at this person? They're telling you facts. They're biracial. I don't understand it at all. One day the mix will be tired of being rejected. And this is a real thing, y'all. I read this all the time, because a lot of times biracial people struggle with being accepted by either group. Meanwhile, it's just so sad. I see it all the time. I read it on Lipstick Alley. It's just so many immature conversations, and people don't understand that this is a real thing. And I'm pretty sure, Manny, you're a biracial woman. It's very sad, and it does make me worried for my son, because I'm like, damn, like, you got to be, you're gonna have issues being accepted by either side, because people want you to be one or the other. I had my mind set to go to Africa, but when I started seeing the Americans being deleted, mainly black women, I changed my mind. Sis, it's dangerous out there. It's dangerous, very, very dangerous. Um, even in other places, it's like, I mean, there are a lot of black people that's like leaving and going to other countries, which is nice, but yeah, we have to be smart, because it's scary. It's very scary. I'm curious, what country did you want to go to? It's cultural, yes. We're going to be transracial and accept each other from all that rejection. Yeah, it's so annoying. I always thought that was weird, and I'm not even biracial. I always thought that was weird for people to hammer into people's head. Like, I remember this. I'll never forget. I was in high school, and there was this black girl, and if you look at her, you're not going to be able to tell based on my own ignorance, but she was Cuban. And she got so much hate, but peep game, it wasn't even just from black people. She got so much hate from other Cubans saying, "You're not Cuban." They were making fun of her skin. It's so crazy. It's so crazy, the ignorance on both sides. Wild. And there's a lot of things that's taught me to not be foolish like this. I have a friend, I think I said this before, she's Dominican. And first of all, the first time I met her, she looks biracial. She looked like she could be half white, right? Half black, or half Hispanic, and half something else. She's not. She's Dominican. Her dad, is her skin color, and her mom is significantly darker. Even within a family, like, it can vary. So I don't understand how people say things like white Hispanic, black Hispanic. It's just so dumb. Like, I think the census had that. Like, they might still have it: white Hispanic, black Hispanic. It's just foolish, because I'm like, even within a family, it varies. So you're gonna have three people in a family, and then they all gonna choose different things. Make it make sense. It's just dumb. That's sad. Biracial should claim both. Absolutely, absolutely. The first boy I met was from Belize. Yo, this pop up is getting on my nerves, man. I don't know why it's doing this today. I never had this issue before. Child. It keeps blocking. As soon as it does it, it's like right in front of the comments. The first boy I met that was from Belize was black, but only spoke Spanish. Exactly. He was so shy, but very down to earth. I had to be educated about that. I had a friend, he's Honduran. Um, and his name is Ricky. And Ricky was from, I want to say Ricky was from the Bronx. Well, that's where he lived, but his family is Honduran. Ricky is a black Latino man. And, like, if you look at him and you don't hear his accent, you're just going to think he's black. So it's just so crazy. There's so many things that we have to learn. Like, and then when you add the complication of other people telling you how you should identify, it's just absurdity. It's absolute absurdity. Um, Mixology said we were in Spanish class together. He was there to learn English. We were there to learn Spanish. He would laugh at us and our accent speaking his language. That's super cute. This sounds just like my friend Ricky. He has a thick ass accent, like super thick, and Spanish is his first language. That is his first language. Ricky is darker than me. Like like it's wild, but yet we want to tell people like it's anyway. That was my little segue there. Thank you, Manny. Um, we just got to get it together. We got to get together. So yeah, I wanted to share that story with y'all. Look it up because, like I said, I don't know if the Ukrainians were also engaging in those activities, but the Russians were, and the Russians got popped, and they finna go home. And Sri Lanka said, "We don't care what's going on. You got to go." um, but I wanted to talk a little bit more before I head out about 2024. Um, Mixology said when asked if he was Spanish or black, he said, "I'm black." Here we go again with this pop-up child. Mm, my computer don't want me to be great today. Let's see. Hello, hello. He said he said I'm black and I speak Spanish. I love that answer. I'm black and I speak Spanish. He said in Belize in Brazil there are so many black people. There are. I felt ignorant too. Actually, you know what's crazy? The first person I met from Belize was black, looked just like me, like they could be an islander. And then it wasn't until I moved to Canada that I met like white looking Belize people. I didn't know that I didn't know that Belize was so diverse. I thought it was just black people. So we all have stuff to learn. It's wild. Yes, yes, Manny. My computer's hanging on you. Computer, get it together. Get it together, computer. What's going on with this thing? It just keeps popping up. It's like it's possessed, child. Let me sprinkle some holy water and some sage on here. But 2024, y'all. So if you are into numerology, okay, 2024 adds up to the number 8. And 8 represents abundance and money and finances and different things. So it's a big year for money. But also there's a lot of things. These are just the two things I'm going to talk about. Um so financially, it's a big year for finances and I think business, but it's also a number of karma, apparently. Like from what I understand, the number 8 also has to do with karmic retribution and clearing your karma. And so I think that some of the stuff we've seen in the news, um, I think it's related to that. So like it's really crazy, like mad people getting exposed. Some people repeatedly exposed. They're not just getting like a one, uppercut. They're getting a jab hook and an uppercut and a couple roundhouse kicks. And we're talking about Diddy. Okay. I think the Diddy thing is way bigger than just celebrity news. Like I think it exposes an insidious situation in the music industry and Hollywood too, but that's another story. I think there's a lot of it's way past you scratch my back, I scratch yours. I think there's a lot of predatory practices. I think there's a lot of sexual deviance, and by sexual deviance, I mean like people being forced to do things they don't want to do. People engaging in unsavory things that they shouldn't be doing, and then you also have people just hiding who they are. But it's just I feel like it's exposing a lot, and I think it's real big. Like sometimes we get caught up on what people think is juicy, like oh Meek Mill is down low and Chris Brown is down low. Y'all got to dig deeper than that. To me, I look at it as like, yo, what is really going on? What's really going on that these people are doing all this stuff behind the scenes, you know, presenting to be somebody else? There's human trafficking allegations. Like, human trafficking is serious. Human trafficking is also like networks of people. This isn't human trafficking is never just one person, y'all. So when you hear those type of allegations, that is not something to take lightly. And I think people get caught up in, the juicy tidbits of like, child, especially if they don't like somebody, they don't like Meek Mill or Chris Brown or whatever. But like, to me, I think it points to very serious things. Like these things that are being alleged against Diddy is serious. Especially the criminal aspect. Some of the stuff is like, I don't really care about because you're adults. Okay. Some of it is just like you're an adult. I worry about the people who were forced into doing things, or minors, people getting hurt, all that stuff. Excuse me. You know, That's what I get concerned about. Um, it's I think it's way bigger than that. Gotta head back to work. Okay, Manny, have a good day. Have a good day, sis. Ciao. Here we go again. Happy Friday and have a great day on purpose. Yes, you too, sis. Thanks for being here. So with the karmic retribution, excuse me, and these are just theories. Even like I think a lot of stuff is happening with the royal family. If y'all are tracking some of that, it's some weird stuff going on, some random deaths. And then the Wendy Williams thing, it rubs me the wrong way. And I'm like, maybe I'm being biased. I do like Wendy, but I'm not like crazy about Wendy. I do like her. I excuse me. I feel this is where I look at things, right? When I look at it through a certain perspective, I definitely compare like wrongdoings. And I think when people say somebody like Wendy Williams is getting karma, because she talked about people and stuff, and this is why I kind of feel like I'm not like I definitely believe in karma, obviously, but like here's what I think. Wendy Williams is not out here trafficking people, not to my knowledge. Wendy Williams did not kill anybody. She didn't kidnap anybody's children. She's not a pedo. I'm listing all of these things because I'm like, of all the things to be held accountable for in that type of way, I just don't. That's why I don't feel like it's karmic. Some things are just, they just are. Sometimes people get sick. Sometimes, like I I'm skeptical to say that when it comes to Wendy Williams. I'm not saying that there isn't an aspect of karma to Wendy, but I think some of that happened already with her husband and the way things ended. But some of this feels like evil. It feels like somebody's doing evil things to her, like her family, whoever that woman is, whoever's supposed to be her guardian, and they're exploiting her in this documentary. That doesn't feel like karma. That feels like foolery. And so I think for me, I draw a line where yes, there's things that's coming out, and that's what I'm paying attention to. What's being exposed, what's being revealed, right? That's to me is the question I'm asking, not just focusing on who's getting their ass whooping. I think people are just focusing on who's getting their ass whooping, and I'm focusing on what is getting revealed. Okay, why are we learning this? What is coming out as a result of this? So that's what excuse me, that's what I think this year, part of what this year is giving. And I think some people are going to miss things because they're just ready to be like, ha ha, Wendy Williams, I don't even think that's funny. Like I said, I kind of measure things and weigh things. To me, there's people doing crazy stuff. Like I just I don't see that as a reason for all these things to be happening to her because she talked about people. Like, come on, y'all. Some of us have done way worse. It's just, I don't know. I would love to hear what you think. Maybe there's things I'm missing that Wendy did. I do know one horrible thing she did was Method Man's wife had cancer, and he wanted it to be a secret, and she blabbed it. So that was really messed up. So I do like I know that she has done things, but again, on the scale of doing things to people, nah, I want to see the pedophiles get brought down low. I want to see the murderers. Like that's who I want to see get brought down low. I'm not gonna be wishing no stuff on Wendy. Are you kidding me? um, Let me see. Simple Living wrote something. I agree. See, seems like they're drugging her up or giving her all the liquor she wants. Exactly. That's not. It's not giving karma to me. It's giving wickedness. See, somebody else sees it, and it's just like I don't know. Like, I just think. Excuse me. Let me drink some water, y'all. I just think that. And I'm not. I say stuff too that I shouldn't, but I try not to jump to conclusions when it comes to certain things because you just never know. Like especially with health, y'all heard me say a lot of times when people be talking about health and stuff, health reads. Stuff can hit us at any time, child. Even when people die, like you got to be a real horrible person for me to cheer your death on. Real horrible. I'm not saying I never have. I'm not gonna sit up here and lie to you. But it's only a few people who make that, who I take it there with. You'd have to do just scores of things to people, because none of us are immortal, as far as I know. um, and can get sick. And so I don't know, I just think we need to be careful. But that's how I feel about it. Um, Let me see what else I have on here. I really haven't been watching Beef Sector to really know what's going on. Sometimes I stop in and listen to stuff, but the last few weeks I really haven't. Like I know I do read things sometimes on LSA. Um, it seems like Tracy and Noble are still fighting. There's nothing new there. I already told you how I feel about that. Um, I don't know. There's just so many people I don't watch. So I'm trying to think if there's anything that I wanted to share or add to any of the stories that's been happening. Not really. There's nothing that I'm aware of. Like for a while, I was paying attention to the Tracy thing, but um, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I know Ness had a competition. I didn't get a chance to watch that. I think she had like a rap battle and stuff. I didn't see it. Usually, I try to watch some of the like some of the competitions because some of them are fun and then other ones are just cringy. I don't know. I wasn't really feeling a rap battle, so I didn't really watch that. But yeah, if there's something that you guys want to talk about, feel free to write it in the chat, or if you have a question about, I have a few more minutes. Um, Nothing's off limits, so feel free to write it in there. And if I can, I'll talk about it. But I'm always honest. I'll let you know if I know about it or not. I'm trying to think what else while I wait for comments. Yeah, these are my main things that I had today that I wanted to talk about. In terms of the election, um, I really, I try not to watch a lot of Trump stuff. Like I think I mentioned this before. I feel like Trump stole so much from me the first go round that I'm setting intentions to not be sucked into a lot of news about him. I do read things, but I'm more interested in finite news. And what I mean by that is, what are the results of these court cases or these allegations? So, like the other day, I think a judge ordered him to pay X amount of dollars. Those are the type of things that I get interested in. But the ongoing battle and back and forth, I try not to like watch it because it's very draining. Um, and with people like him, it just feels like rarely ever he's really ever held accountable. And so I don't like to list like I just don't like to follow this stuff because then it feels like you're getting pulled on an emotional roller coaster. You know what I'm saying? Like you just like even with I'll give an example with this whole Diddy thing. No, not Diddy. Nature Boy. I have not watched any Nature Boy court stuff, and one of the reasons is I don't want to listen to those details. It sounds very triggering and annoying. But also I don't want to invest any energy into that type of a court case only to see the person walk. And so after the judgment has been handed down, then I may go back and watch stuff, then I'll be interested. But I try to like really guard myself because some of that stuff is mad draining. It's and triggering. And so I really just try to limit how much I intake. I did the same thing with the R. Kelly case. um, I just didn't watch. I didn't pay attention until the end. I just didn't want to. I didn't want to intake a lot of that stuff. It's just too much. There's too much heaviness. So anyway, um, those are my thoughts on that. I don't know if any of you are following the Nature Boy thing. Hopefully, he gets held accountable. I mean, one thing I will say, this is probably another reason I don't want to watch his arse. You ever looked into that man's eyes? It's straight demon. Like I'm laughing, but I'm dead ass right now. It's very rare that I look into somebody's eyes and I'm like, this is giving straight demon. Nature Boy looks devoid of humanity. Like he really, really looks like a demon has taken over his body. I don't know how to explain that. I don't know how to put that into better words. But it's not all. It's either it's not all. It's not him at all in there, or it's dark. Like it actually gives me the heebie-jeebies thinking about it. And it's not just no regular demon either. It's a high level demon. This is what I'm gonna say. I don't know what y'all think, but whenever I look at him, it's just ew. And it's just a whole stronghold over there. And these people I think are still following, tiptoeing behind him, waiting. I can't like cults and stuff is extremely triggering to me. Um And then one of the saddest things is when people receive freedom and they don't even know it. Like that drink just breaks my heart. It's just like when you see a DV victim get a second chance and they just go right back, right? And that's part of the cycle sometimes, but it's heartbreaking and there's nothing you can do about it, with adults at least. And so sometimes I'd rather just not watch, right? It almost reminds me of like addiction. Addiction work, I think is really hard work. And I think it takes a special person to work ongoing with predominantly addiction issues because you're going to deal with the ups and downs, but it's different type of ups and downs. It's hard. I think it's very hard. I learned early on this is not work I'm called to. I will deal with it in my regular counseling life because it will come up. But if this is the predominant issue that the person has, I always refer them out because I'm just like I can't. They need somebody else, who's going to support them through this. So this is all I got, y'all. I don't got nothing else. I didn't see any other requests for topics. So I'm going to wrap it up. I got to do some more errands. I hope you guys enjoyed this commentary, whether you're here in the chat or you're watching the replay. I appreciate everybody who is here, was here, and who's going to watch this on the replay. I hope y'all have a very happy Friday. And yeah, I'll put like the little 30-second thingy countdown, and then we're going to be out. I love y'all. I hope you have a wonderful day. And remember, don't let nobody shame you into doing some stuff that you don't want to do. Be you, be authentically you, and love it. Bye, y'all.